What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, The Only Reviews, with two different views. And in this episode, we're talking about the new album by Deap Vally called Femejism. And we're asking the question, does Deap Vally's hard rockin' Femejism sound like progress? Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
Deap Vally are a Los Angeles-based duo made up of Lindsay Troy and Julie Edwards, who handle guitar and vocals and drums, respectively. This is their second album. It follows their 2013 debut, Sistrionics, which we covered back in the day. And this new one is produced by Nick Zenner of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. So that's cool. Now let's talk about what it sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, on Femejism, I think Deap Vally sounds like Sleigh Bells and the Jonestown Massacre Runaway with Girl Band.
Ah, interesting. I think it sounds like the White Stripes and those Darlins had a baby that was actually two girls with giant balls. Let's talk about some highlights from the album. What do you got first, Derek?
Kevin, the first highlight to me was the overall sound here, just this raw rock and roll sound. It definitely sounded fuller and had some more experimentation than their previous album. There wasn't any one, hard rock sound that they were going with. There was a variety of them. I really kind of just enjoyed the high energy that they maintained throughout.
Yeah, I think it feels rough and raw and energetic in all the right ways. This is a loud, in-your-face band, and I think that comes through really well on the record. And I do think there's a lot of sonic variety here to keep their limited instrumentation from getting stale. Tempo to tone to genre. I think they use almost all the clever devices at their disposal to sort of push their sound in different directions really well.
Yeah, I thought also how they utilize both their voices, call and response, just in addition to adding some texture, through vocal ooze or stuff like that.
Yeah, and what about any favorite tracks for you, Derek?
Yeah, Kevin, one that stood out to me was the fifth track, Smile More. This one really had kind of a bluesy, reverb-heavy electric guitar riff and blasting drums, much kind of louder and more raucous during the choruses. They confront male expectations, more serious lyrical theme, then kind of match the appealing pop sound there. So kind of interesting contrast.
Track-wise, I enjoyed the album opener, Royal Jelly. I really dug the slow groove, this scorched electric guitar, and the instrumental break is just a really great assault on their instruments and a great opening to the album itself. I also enjoyed Little Baby Beauty Queen. It's barreling drums, frenetic guitar, and I love how it builds into this punk rock freak out at the end. And then finally, Teenage Queen. I liked for its blaring electric guitar, pumping drums, and a cool metal vibe overall, but also had this sort of hip-hop, almost rapped chorus, which I thought was pretty well done as well.
Another track that stood out to me was the eighth one, Two Seat Bike. This one featured crashing drums, churning electric guitars, and a vocal shooby-dooby-doo, ram-a-lam-a ding-dong to open and kind of call and response. The verses shifted gears. They're softer, more floating electric guitar riff, legato vocals, a backing ooze. This bridge features repetitive lyrics of "It's a crying shame," as the electric guitar and drums build. And I think this would induce some headbanging if that's still a thing.
It's definitely still a thing, Derek. Those are some good highlights. What about lowlights, Derek?
One small gripe. Critic, it was much more restrained, no drums at all. The theme of just kind of sticking it to the critics was a little weak, even though it was kind of a departure from the rest of their kind of formula, if you will. I wasn't entirely won over by that one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have a few lowlights myself. I thought the lyrics were pretty straightforward. I feel like they're much more about sound and energy and rawness, and that's okay. But I do feel like the lyrics left me wanting just a little more interesting perspective. They take on some tough topics here, but none of it felt that new or fresh. And then secondly, I just thought some of the tracks weren't that musically interesting and they could have been left off the album. I agree with you, Derek. Critic, I think that one felt underdeveloped. And yes, this is two critics criticizing your song Critic.
The point is not lost on us.
Sorry, not sorry.
That also, if you're going to want it. Great track, by the way.
And then I also felt like Postpunk felt a little too poppy for me, and Two Seat Bike, to disagree with you, Derek, it just felt flat to me between the vocals and the guitar. Something about the tone was a little off for me personally. So that brings us to overall rating and answering the big question, does Deap Vally's hard rock and Femejism sound like progress? What do you say, Derek?
Kevin, I think it is progress. I think Deap Vally finds higher peaks here on Femejism. Overall, it was an engaging listen. The high energy was contagious. So I think this is definitely a positive step forward, and I think there are only going to be good things further to come from Deap Vally, so looking forward to those. But for the time being, I'm giving Femejism a 4 out of 5.
We'll agree and disagree. To answer the big question, does Deap Vally's hard rock and Femejism sound like progress? I think a bit. I think they explore some new territory. I wish they did so even more. Don't get me wrong, it is a fun, hell-raising, instinctual record. I think it's got their signature sound down pat. I just wish it took a few more interesting turns than it does. And I wish the concept were just a little bit more thought out and developed. All that being said, I am going to give this one a 2 out of 5 overall. And with Derek's 4 out of 5, that makes a combined 6 out of 10. So definitely check out Femejism by Deap Vally and let us know what you think about it. We'd love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to us either here on YouTube or the podcast. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.